Why I think Bitcoin is going to crash. If you look at Bitcoin, people are currently excited about this new investment vehicle. I hear friends and family constantly talking about it and asking me all sorts of questions as to why this is the next big thing of the future. But before you get so excited, you have to look at the past to see if Bitcoin in its current state has a future in the world. First, let's look at the Bitcoin chart. Now let's look at another chart. This is a classic bubble chart of the tulip mania in 1634. Now let's look at even another chart. Do you see the similarities? Even Isaac Newton could not predict the madness of men. Now let's look at the anatomy of a bubble. Can you see where we are in the cycle? To me it looks like we are in the mania phase. It would not surprise me Bitcoin hits 9600 plus before selling off in a violent fashion. I see the reasoning behind Bitcoin because for many years common people have been complaining about the destruction of currency all over the world. Since the 2008 meltdown, almost all central banks have scaled up their balance sheets and taken on a tremendous amount of debt. Many countries have been meeting privately to consider a new basket currency to compete against the United States dollar. To create balance, a new digital currency was created and there is a total of 21 million coins available. But before you get sold on if this is the new currency of the world, let's go back into the past and examine why Bitcoin may have a short life ahead. First, let's take a look at the original currency of the world known as gold. Gold was used in most of world history. Gold is a precious metal and is rare in the world. It's been around a very long time and many feel it's still the base currency of the world. All fiat currencies are measured by gold as the base, and this has been the system we've been using in recent history. In this chart, prices for consumer products were the most stable during the time we used the gold standard. But over the history of time we have recklessly spent money and racked up major deficits in the world. Borrowing money was a lazy way our elected leaders dealt with the problems of the day. In 1933 we got off the gold standard because we ran into major problems using gold as the base. This was one of the main reasons the United States got out of the Great Depression. Also, having the gold standard was one of the reasons we fell into the Great Depression. In the gold standard, the value of currency is fixed in terms of a quantity of gold. This means that all fiat currency is fixed to the current supply of gold. The total supply was set by gold for all money, and the central banks had limited power to control money. This means the supply was limited and could not expand easily. So if gold was so great, why don't we use it anymore? Economic cycles. Even though the gold standard give us price stability over the long run and at times create short-term problems with the economy. These shortages create major depressions because of the limited supply. We have been going through economic cycles every decade in the past 100 years. These peaks and valleys cause money to go into the wrong places and create bubbles. These bubbles pop and then we go through a recession to rebalance the system. Money flows into all sorts of assets. As dumb money flow into the wrong sectors, it creates an imbalance, and when the economy starts to contract, the government had no way of fixing the economy because they were tied to a fixed exchange rate of gold. You see, if the government can't help stimulate the economy, the people experience hard times just like in the Great Depression. So when people are in hard times, they blame the government for allowing this to happen to them. The problem with gold is that because it was a global fixed currency, when countries went into economic hardship, there was little the governments can do to help stimulate the economy. The people who held most of the gold did not spend the gold and held it. This made things worse and the common folks ended up being homeless and very poor. The wealth was not distributed because the wealthy gold holders did not spend enough to help stimulate the economy. They were greedy. People always get greedy in times of panic. This is one of the problems I have with Bitcoin, is that the original holders of coins are private investors and not government agencies. This means that, say Bitcoin was a global world currency and we went into a recession, these same coin holders will not spend any coins and we would have a major collapse of the system. Same as gold. This is my main gripe with Bitcoin. There is very little the government can do to fix this and we are in the same boat as gold. This is why Bitcoin is worthless. My other issue with Bitcoin is it's a non-productive asset. This means that most people who hold coins are holding it for higher prices. They are investors of the currency and not users. Users would buy and sell products and services and create a liquid economy. The investment base of Bitcoin is the majority of the market, which means that it's all speculation that's driving higher prices and not fundamentals. Here is a list of all the things I see what is wrong with Bitcoin. 1. No Bank of International Settlement or FOMC support. Not regarded as real money. 2. No major bank supports it currently. 3. It's a direct threat against the US dollar. 4. The limited supply of bitcoins is similar to the limited supply of gold. 5. The limitations in transactions is no comparison to real-world transactions we have currently. 6. The network needs to use a lot of processing power to process simple transactions. 7. Governments can't stimulate their own economies because it's a fixed currency just like gold. 8. It's a threat against all governments who have policies for economic projections. 9. The investment base is made up of weak holders. 10. The investment base is mostly speculators. 11. It's not liquid enough for everyday use. 12. Just like gold, it sits there and looks pretty. A non-working asset. 13. Hackers can destroy the network and steal your coins. 14. Poor mobile payment support. 15. It's viewed as a placeholder for real money in the eyes of the FOMC. 16. Criminals can use the network for all sorts of illegal things. 17. Not widely used by most consumers. 18. No consumer protection in case a scam or an error has occurred. Actually, I would long blockchain technology because I see some real future value in the technology, but I would short Bitcoin and all other digital currencies. The top is somewhere between 9,600-14K for Bitcoin. Bitcoin will crash soon. Thank you.